Alright, so Covenant the Last Flame throws more than 50 heroes at you, and let's be honest, picking the right ones can be a total headache. Sure, the rarity system helps a little, but once you realize there are almost 30 SSR heroes to sort through, things get messy real quick. You start wondering, who's worth building, who's just taking up space, and who can actually carry you through the game? That's exactly why we're here today. I've put together a tier list to break it all down, so you don't have to waste time or resources figuring it out the hard way. We'll go through the top picks, the hidden gems, and even the ones you might want to avoid. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the Covenant the Last Flame tier list together. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking heroes in Covenant the Last Flame. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Winter Witch, Eternal Bronze, and Glowing Saintess. Alright, imagine this. You pull a shiny new hero in Covenant the Last Flame, and your brain goes, yes, this is it, game changer right here. Only to find out they belong in the dreaded D tier. Ouch. Let's talk about a few of these heartbreakers because, while they look cool on paper, in practice they're more like decorative wallpaper for your roster. First up, the Winter Witch. She's a magical ranged hero with an active skill that sounds awesome, stacking up to 7 times. That's the kind of description that makes you think she's about to wreck entire battlefields. But here's the kicker. Every other skill and even her basic attacks, they hit like a snowball in July. On top of that, she does not bring useful enemy debuffs or strong ally boosts to the team. So yeah, you can spam that one skill, but beyond that, she is basically a frosty disappointment. Next, we have Eternal Bronze. Now, with a name like that, you would expect something unstoppable, like a tanky archer made of actual bronze. Instead, what you get is a physical ranged hero stuck in the back row, doing pitiful damage. And to make matters worse, his health pool is so low he constantly needs protection. You are essentially babysitting a hero who does not even give you decent returns for the trouble. Honestly, his eternal quality is how long it takes for you to regret investing in him. Now let's talk about Glowing Saintess. At first glance, she seems like the perfect early game support unit. She is a physical ranged healer who can mass heal, which sounds pretty sweet when your squad is struggling to stay alive in the early levels. And to be fair, in the beginning, she does feel like a lifesaver. But here's the twist. The deeper you go into the game, the quicker she becomes irrelevant. Even when you level her up, her healing just does not scale well enough. And suddenly she feels like that one friend who peaked in high school. The common thread with all these heroes is that they trick you into thinking they're solid picks. Their designs are appealing, their skills sound impressive, but once you start relying on them, you realize they bring more frustration than value. This is why they're chilling together down in D tier, waiting for someone new to pull them and repeat the same cycle of disappointment. So, moral of the story, do not let the flashy descriptions fool you. Winter Witch, Eternal Bronze, and Glowing Saintess might look tempting, but they are better left on the bench while you invest your resources in heroes that can actually carry you through the tougher stages of Covenant the Last Flame. Because trust me, these 3 are not carrying anything except your regret. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Devouring Firebow, Scarlet Swordwarden, and Tidal Queen. Picture this. You finally land a hero that looks like they're ready to dominate Covenant the Last Flame, only to realize they're hanging out in C tier. Not terrible, not amazing, just sitting in that awkward middle ground where you are never quite sure if you should commit to them or move on. Let's break down the curious case of our C tier champions. First up is Devouring Firebow, a physical ranged hero who brings some spicy mechanics to the table. Her basic attack stacks, which is always fun, and she has a passive skill that doubles her attack speed. Sounds amazing, right? Well, here's the kicker. When she leans into that passive, her damage output actually drops. It is like ordering a pizza with extra cheese and then realizing they forgot the toppings. She looks fast and flashy, but the end result feels a bit underwhelming. Then we have Scarlet Swordwarden, a magical melee unit who is surprisingly unique. She is one of the rare heroes who can gain crowd control immunity, which is a massive advantage in certain fights. On top of that, she has this rebirth upon defeat mechanic, meaning she gets a second chance at life. That should make her a powerhouse, right? Unfortunately, her damage output, both basic and ultimate, is so low that her comebacks feel more like dramatic pauses than actual threats. She's the warrior equivalent of saying surprise and then forgetting why you showed up. Now let's talk about the Title Queen, a magical ranged hero who absolutely loves controlling the flow of battle. She has multiple crowd control abilities, which is always useful, and she also lowers the critical rate of enemies just by being on the field. That kind of passive debuff is golden in the right setup. The downside? Her summoned creatures are made of paper. Their damage is disappointing, their health is even worse, and watching them fight is like sending toddlers into a boxing match. What ties these three heroes together is that they all have some genuinely interesting mechanics that could make them shine: stacking attacks, immunity tricks, or battlefield-wide debuffs. But every time you get excited about their potential, the flaws creep in and remind you why they're chilling in C tier instead of climbing higher. At the end of the day, the C tier heroes are like that group of classmates who had potential but never quite lived up to the hype. They are not unplayable, and they can have their moments, especially in niche situations. But if you are looking for consistency and reliable power in Covenant: The Last Flame, you might want to save your resources for heroes that don't make you ask, "Why am I still using this one?" The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Storm Shaman, Mogu Trader, Immortal Beetle, Cinder Knight, and Rune Flame Fireplume. Sometimes in Covenant: The Last Flame, you stumble on heroes who feel like that middle child at family gatherings, reliable, a little underrated, and occasionally surprising, but not quite ready to steal the spotlight. That is exactly what the B tier is all about. These heroes will not carry your entire roster on their shoulders, but they definitely have enough tricks up their sleeves to keep you entertained and sometimes even clutch out a win. Let's break down our B tier squad one by one. Starting off with Storm Shaman, a physical melee hero who is tailor-made for summon-focused teams. He works great as a support unit, and the best part? His position on the grid does not affect his performance at all. That gives you a ton of flexibility when building your formations. The downside? Every skill outside of his basic attack has pitiful stats. It is like he spent all his points maxing out one ability and completely forgot the rest of his skill tree. Then we have Mogu Trader, a physical ranged hero with a surprisingly strong active skill. He specifically targets the farthest enemy hero and immobilizes them, which is fantastic for shutting down pesky backline threats. On top of that, once you unlock his aura skill, he boosts critical damage resistance for all allies. Sounds like a solid package, right? Well, not quite. His passive and ultimate skills feel like filler content, weak, uninspired, and not nearly as useful as they should be. Immortal Beetle is next, and let's be honest, the name alone makes you expect greatness. He is a physical tank whose basic attack is an area of effect strike that can hit up to 6 enemies. That's already pretty fun, but he takes it a step further by resurrecting after death. A tank that refuses to stay down? Yes, please. The catch is, he only shines when you place him in the front. Put him anywhere else, and suddenly his immortality looks more like false advertising. On the magical tank side, we've got Cinder Knight. This guy comes loaded with solid debuffs, both in his active and ultimate skills, and he can even freeze enemies to lock them down mid-battle. That kind of control is always handy, but his damage output is embarrassingly low, even if you push him all the way to tier 4. He's basically the teammate who does all the dirty work but never gets the kill credit. Reliable, yes, but not the flashiest pick for your roster. And then there's Rune Flame Fireplume, a magical ranged hero with one of the most dramatic mechanics in the game. After death, he respawns and nukes all enemies with massive damage. It is the kind of move that makes you sit up and say, okay, maybe this was worth it. Unfortunately, outside of that one big bang, he's pretty lackluster. His basic attacks deal laughably low damage, and his energy regeneration is so slow, you'll feel like you are waiting for a download on 1990s internet. So what do these 5 B-tier heroes have in common? They're specialists. Each one has a niche role that can absolutely shine in the right setup, but take them out of their comfort zone and they collapse faster than a Jenga tower in round 1. The thing is, you cannot write them off completely. Storm Shaman brings value to summon teams. Mogu Trader shuts down backline enemies. Immortal Beetle is a tank that just refuses to quit. Cinder Knight locks enemies down with debuffs. And Rune Flame Fireplume can single-handedly flip a battle on its head after death. That is a lot of potential, just not the kind you can build your whole strategy around. If anything, The B-tier roster is the perfect example of heroes who need the right friends to shine. Pair them with stronger allies who cover their weaknesses, and suddenly they look like hidden gems. But leave them on their own, and they're going to let you down more often than not. At the end of the day, B-tier is not a bad place to be. These heroes are useful, situational, and sometimes even fun to play with. Just don't go dumping all your precious resources into them, expecting S-tier performance. Because let's face it, they're more like supporting actors in a movie. You need them, you like them, but they are not the ones winning the awards. So if you pull Storm Shaman, Mogu Trader, Immortal Beetle, Cinder Knight, or Runeflame Fireplume, don't sigh too hard. They may not be superstars, but in the right hands and the right comps, they'll make sure you don't regret giving them a shot. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Black Dragon Prince, Archdruid, Rampant Whitebox, Crimson Knight, Weaving Spider Queen, Alchemy Gnome, and Star Chaser. Let's be real for a second. A tier in Covenant. The last flame is where heroes start to feel like they were born to shine. They aren't untouchable S-tier beasts, but they are reliable, fun to use, and can seriously swing the tide of battle when you build the right team around them. Now buckle up, because these A-tier heroes each have something special, and some quirks that make them hilariously entertaining to play with. First up, Black Dragon Prince. This magical tank is like a fireworks show on the battlefield. His active skill deals superb area of effect damage, and he's got a burn effect that keeps hitting enemies over time. Add in his ultimate, which stacks multiple debuffs on a single target, and suddenly you have a hero who can make life miserable for the enemy backline. The only downside? His passive and aura skills feel like they were afterthoughts, which is a bit sad considering everything else he brings to the table. Next, Archdruid, a magical ranged hero who practically turns the battlefield into his own forest. He summons multiple helpers, can immobilize enemies, and has a transformation that unleashes an absurdly powerful ultimate. The problem? His base damage output is painfully low, so while his summons and ultimate make him feel godlike, those early attacks can make you wish you had a coffee break mid-fight. Rampant Whitebox is a physical tank that is basically the definition of controlled chaos. He excels in single-target damage, and each of his 4 skills either stuns or interrupts the enemy, which is perfect for messing with enemy strategies. Then there's his Angry Charge skill, which can completely disrupt enemy lineups. Playing him is like watching a bull run through a chessboard, chaotic, destructive, and strangely satisfying. Then there's Crimson Knight, another physical tank, but this one is more of a defensive powerhouse with a nasty offensive streak. Her area of effect attacks hit multiple enemies hard, and she buffs her own defense with both active and passive skills. And her ultimate? It clears all ally debuffs while boosting attack speed and damage. Basically, she's the friend you call when everything is falling apart because she will literally clean up the mess. Weaving Spider Queen is next on the list, and let me tell you, she is a nightmare if you aren't prepared. This physical melee hero summons deadly spiders that each have their own skills, which makes her feel like running your own little arachnid army. Her aura boosts the critical rate for the team, but here's the catch. She is heavily reliant on her summons. Bring a DPS heavy team, and suddenly her spiders are more like cute pets than battlefield threats. Alchemy Gnome is a magical melee hero who packs a surprising punch. He has both area of effect and single target attacks that are potent, and he's especially useful for weakening the most dangerous enemy hero. On top of that, his aura buffs all allies' damage before battle even starts. Think of him as the tactical prepper of your roster, quietly setting everyone up for glory before the fireworks begin. Star Chaser is a physical melee hero who knows how to bring the pain. She excels at single target damage, making her one of the best DPS options in A tier. Plus, she provides excellent critical rate and damage buffs for herself and allies. The only catch? She needs a strong tank ally to keep her alive and doing damage. Without that frontline support, she's just a glass cannon waiting to get blown over. What ties all these heroes together is that they each bring something special to a team. Some control the battlefield, others buff allies, some disrupt enemies, and a few just explode in a fiery display of AoE damage. They all have strong points that make them fun to play and effective in the right compositions. Black Dragon Prince is the kind of hero who can completely demolish enemy formations if left unchecked. Archdruid summons can hold enemies in place while your team racks up damage. Rampant White Box's stuns and interruptions make the enemy's strategy crumble. Crimson Knight cleans up your allies and punishes enemies simultaneously. Weaving Spider Queen is a high-risk, high-reward hero. In the right setup, her spider army can dominate the battlefield, but without support, she is surprisingly fragile. Alchemy Gnome sets the tone for your team, giving everyone a damage boost before the fight even starts. Star Chaser thrives in sustained fights with a strong front line, rewarding careful positioning and synergy. Playing a tier heroes is like managing a finely tuned orchestra. Each hero has their instrument, some louder, some quieter, but all capable of creating a beautiful symphony when combined correctly. Miss one beat, and the enemy will laugh while you scramble to keep up. The beauty of this tier is flexibility. These heroes are versatile enough to slot into many team compositions without feeling completely out of place. They're reliable, impactful, and can make both early and late game content much smoother if you understand their strengths. They also have personality. Black Dragon Prince is fiery and relentless. Archdruid is mystical and chaotic. Rampant White Box is the bull in the arena. Crimson Knight is both shield and sword. Weaving Spider Queen is creepy cute chaos. Alchemy Gnome is the sneaky prepper. Star Chaser is your critical hitting nightmare. Each one feels distinct, which makes building a team around them all the more satisfying. A tier hero's reward strategy, not just luck. You need to think about positioning, synergies, and timing to get the most out of them. They are not plug-and-play S-tier beasts, but with a little thought, they can turn into real game changers. So if you find yourself pulling Black Dragon Prince, Archdruid, Rampant White Box, Crimson Knight, Weaving Spider Queen, Alchemy Gnome, or Star Chaser, don't panic. You've got a solid roster in your hands. Treat them well, pair them wisely, and they will make you look like a genius on the battlefield. In short, a tier is where heroes start feeling like they belong in the main event. They are reliable, fun, and capable of carrying fights in clever ways. They are not S-tier invincible beasts, but they are the kind of heroes who make you grin every time you see their skills go off. Play them right, and Covenant the Last Flame suddenly feels like a lot more fun. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Lord of Emerald, Fellfire Duke, Luna Huntress, Froststar Dragonling, Scourge Monarch, and Shining Plumbed Moon. Let's be honest, S-tier and Covenant. The Last Flame is where the heroes start to feel like they were literally designed to make your enemies cry. These are the game changers, the ones you build your team around, and the kind of units that make you grin every time their skills go off. Let's dive into why these heroes are sitting at the top of the roster. First up, Lord of Emerald. This magical ranged hero is hands down the best healer in the game. She boosts the maximum HP of every ally before the battle even starts, can revive a recently fallen hero, and keeps your team alive through almost anything. The only downside? Her damage output is pretty disappointing. But honestly, when you can single-handedly keep your whole team standing, who cares about a little lack of damage? Next is Fellfire Duke, another magical ranged powerhouse. His active skill summons a unit that deals continuous area of effect damage, which is perfect for clearing waves of enemies. On top of that, he provides decent debuffs to enemies, and, when his aura is active, massively boosts critical rate and magical attack damage for your entire team. He's like a walking, summoning support and damage package that makes fights feel way too easy. Then we have Luna Huntress, a physical ranged hero who knows how to control a fight. She boosts ally speed and attack stats before the battle begins, stuns the enemy she attacks, and even debuffs their energy regeneration. Her ultimate skill adds area of effect damage to the mix, making her not just a support hero but also a serious threat on the battlefield. She's fast, she's precise, and she makes the enemy think twice before acting. Froststar Dragonling is another magical ranged gem with incredible single-target damage. She excels against magical enemies and has an aura skill that provides critical and attack boosts for all allies. Pair her with the right team, and she basically turns every enemy hero into a walking target dummy. Her damage might not be AoE focused, but when you need one hero to melt a boss or priority target, she's your go-to. Scourge Monarch is a magical melee hero who laughs in the face of positioning restrictions. He performs equally well in all positions, has excellent DPS abilities, inflicts multiple debuffs on enemies, and can even restore ally health. He's the all-in-one utility and damage hero you never knew you needed until you see him in action. Versatile, powerful, and resilient. Basically the Swiss Army knife of the top tier. Shining Plumed Moon is arguably the second best physical DPS hero in the game. Her critical abilities are top-notch, and her aura skill, Moonlit Blessing, boosts both ally critical rate and physical attack. Every skill she has either buffs allies or debuffs enemies, making her a constant threat while simultaneously strengthening your team. Put her on the battlefield and watch everything go from meh to oh no, they're unstoppable. What's amazing about these S-tier heroes is how much they can do for your team. Lord of Emerald keeps everyone alive. Fellfire Duke provides continuous AoE damage and buffs, and Luna Huntress controls the battlefield with stuns and debuffs. Froststar Dragonling melts priority targets. Scourge Monarch brings versatility and healing, and Shining Plumed Moon turns every fight into a critical hitting spectacle. Each hero has a role, but they all share one thing: impact. They change the flow of the battle in ways that C, B, or even A-tier heroes can only dream about. They are designed to be both fun and devastating, giving you plenty of reasons to want to max them out. Playing S-tier heroes is like being handed cheat codes, but in a way that still requires strategy. Positioning, timing, and synergy all matter, but when used correctly, they will carry fights almost single-handedly. The beauty is their reliability. Unlike lower-tier heroes, you do not have to guess whether they'll perform. S-tier heroes consistently shine, whether you're clearing early content, taking on mid-game bosses, or climbing PvP ranks. They are dependable, devastating, and versatile. If you pull Lord of Emerald, Fellfire Duke, Luna Huntress, Froststar Dragonling, Scourge Monarch, or Shining Plumed Moon, cherish them. Build teams around them, invest in their skills, and watch as battles you used to struggle with suddenly feel like a walk in the park. In short, S-tier heroes are everything you want in Covenant: The Last Flame. Powerful, versatile, impactful, and fun. They don't just participate in battles, they dominate them, turning every fight into an opportunity for strategy, skill, and pure, satisfying chaos. The heroes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Paladin, Thunder Spirit Lander, Ice Saintress, and Enchanting Succubus. Alright, buckle up, because S+ tier in Covenant: The Last Flame is where the legends live. These are the heroes you pull and immediately whisper to yourself, yes, this is the one that changes everything. They aren't just strong, they redefine what it means to dominate the battlefield. Let's break down the cream of the crop. First up, Paladin, the magical tank who is basically the ultimate defensive wall. He shines especially against magical enemies and works well in almost any lineup thanks to his defensive skills and HP regeneration. But here's the real kicker. He can protect weaker allies by sharing the damage they take. Imagine a hero who willingly steps in front of danger so your squishier units can keep hitting. Yes, that's Paladin. Then we have Thunder Spirit Lancer, the physical melee DPS monster. This guy holds the crown for the highest physical damage output in the game. Whether it's single target or area of effect damage, he obliterates everything in his path. On top of that, his ultimate stacks for even more devastation, and 2 of his 4 skills can stun enemies. Basically, he is Chaos Incarnate with a spear in hand. Next is Ice Saintress, a magical ranged hero who brings literal cold justice. She can freeze enemies, stopping all of their actions for a set period, but don't let her control skills fool you. She performs equally well as a DPS or sub-DPS, making her incredibly versatile. She also summons a magic hero that continues dealing damage while freezing enemies, turning the battlefield into an icy nightmare for the opposition. And then there's Enchanting Succubus, a magical melee hero who specializes in turning fights upside down. She excels at debuffing enemies, steals energy and healing from them, and shares it with her allies. Plus, she can enchant enemies to hurt themselves or even damage other enemies. Playing her feels like orchestrating chaos. One wrong move for your opponent and they're already losing before they know it. What ties all these S+ tier heroes together is sheer impact. Paladin makes your team unshakable. Thunder Spirit Lancer obliterates foes. Ice Saintress freezes and punishes. And Enchanting Succubus manipulates the battlefield like a master puppeteer. Each hero brings something that can single-handedly swing a battle in your favor. Unlike lower-tier heroes, These units are reliable in almost every scenario. They are designed to consistently perform at the top level, whether in PvE, PvP, or boss encounters. If used strategically, they make your entire team look unstoppable. S+ tier is where your investment pays off the most. These heroes aren't just strong, they elevate every ally around them, synergize beautifully with team compositions, and provide the kind of game-changing effects that turn difficult battles into near walkovers. In short, if you pull Paladin, Thunder Spirit Lancer, Ice Saintess, or Enchanting Succubus, you've essentially hit the jackpot. Build your team around them, and every fight in Covenant the Last Flame suddenly feels like it's in your favor. Because with these heroes, it probably is. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.